My best friend stole my fiancé. They betrayed me. When I disappeared, they thought I'd given up on life, but I'd rebuilt it. When I returned with my fiancé years later, they were shocked. 3 years ago, the person I trusted the most became the reason I fell apart. Sophia Miller was more than a friend to me, she was like a sister. We grew up together, shared secrets, heartbreaks, and dreams. I believed there was nothing in the world that could break that bond. Until she crossed a line I never thought she would. The line was named Daniel Hayes, my fiancé, my future, my everything. Daniel was the kind of man people described as promising. Smart, ambitious, charming. He had the kind of smile that made you forget how dangerous charm can be. And Sophia? She had the kind of envy that hid behind a warm smile. It started small, late night calls about work, a few harmless dinners, inside jokes I wasn't part of. I told myself not to be paranoid. After all, she was my best friend. But one night, while dropping off dinner at Daniel's office, I heard laughter through the half open door. Her laughter, then silence, and Daniel's voice, low, guilty, trembling. This is insane, Sophia. I didn't need to hear more. Some truths don't need confirmation. I walked away without knocking, holding the dinner I'd made like it was evidence of my own stupidity. That night, Daniel brought me flowers, kissed my forehead, and said he was exhausted. I smiled back, the kind of smile you give right before a storm hits. A few days later, a text appeared on his phone. Just 3 words. Still thinking of you. Beneath it, Sophia's name. That was it. The final crack. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I simply packed my things, placed the ring on the table, and wrote a note that said, "Thank you for teaching me what love isn't." I left New York that night. Daniel called nonstop, begged, cried, sent long messages about mistakes and regret. But the truth is, once you see betrayal in someone's eyes, you can never unsee it. I went to my mother's in Boston. She didn't ask for explanations. She just held me and whispered, "Every ending is a new beginning, honey." I didn't believe her. For weeks, I barely spoke. I stayed in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering how it all went so wrong. Then, one morning, I saw their photo online. Sophia and Daniel smiling on the red carpet at some law gala. The caption read, "Number power couple." I didn't cry. I just stared, and something inside me shifted. That photo wasn't love, it was ego. She didn't want him. She wanted what I had, and she got it. But for the first time, I didn't feel defeated. I felt determined. Because that day I promised myself something. One day, she'll see me again, and she'll wish she never touched what was mine. I didn't know when or how, but I knew it would happen. That promise became my fuel. I left Boston and moved to San Francisco. My cousin Clara lived there, vibrant, confident, fearless. She helped me get back on my feet, repeating like a mantra, new city, new life. I found a job as a financial consultant in a small but growing company. At first, I was just trying to survive, but slowly I started to feel alive again. San Francisco's foggy mornings, the quiet rhythm of the city, it was like breathing after drowning for too long. One evening, rushing out of a coffee shop, I bumped into someone. My latte spilled everywhere. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," I said. He smiled, calm and unbothered. "It's fine. My fault I wasn't looking." His name was Nathan Reed. I didn't know it then, but that moment would change everything. A few days later, his name started popping up everywhere. News articles, conferences, donations. He was a world-renowned heart surgeon, founder of a medical tech company that was revolutionizing patient care. But what struck me wasn't his reputation, it was his energy. There was a stillness in him, a quiet confidence that made you feel safe just by being near him. We met again when he visited my company for a charity collaboration. I was handling the financial logistics, and he asked to meet personally. The meeting began formally, but by the end, it felt like two people talking about life, not business. A week later, he emailed me, Madison, it was refreshing talking to you. How about coffee next time? I said yes. That one coffee turned into many. Those turned into walks, dinners, late night talks about everything and nothing. Nathan didn't try to fix me, he just listened. One night I told him everything, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the bitterness. He didn't interrupt, didn't pity me. He just said, sometimes when you think you've lost everything, the universe is just clearing space for something better. That sentence stayed with me. With Nathan, I started to rebuild not just my life, but myself. I was promoted, started leading my own team, even launched a women's empowerment project through his foundation. He didn't just love me, he believed in me. And for the first time, I believed in myself too. One day, he handed me an invitation. Innovation in Health Gala. Will you come? I smiled. Wouldn't miss it. That night, wearing a crimson silk gown, I looked at my reflection and barely recognized the woman staring back. Strong, poised, free. The girl who once begged to be loved was gone. The woman who no longer needed anyone's validation had taken her place. We walked into the gala together, flashes going off everywhere. Nathan's hand rested lightly on my back. People whispered. I remembered the old photo, Sophia and Daniel basking in attention, and I smiled, because now the roles had reversed. By simply existing, I'd become everything they pretended to be. Weeks later, Nathan was invited as a keynote speaker at another event in Los Angeles. I went with him, unaware the universe had one more scene left in my story. The moment I stepped into the ballroom, I heard a voice I hadn't heard in years. Madison? I turned. It was Sophia. Time had not been kind. Her beauty was still there, but it was tired, the kind of beauty that fades when it's built on lies. And beside her, Daniel. His expression froze when our eyes met. For a brief second, it felt like time folded in on itself, the past and present colliding. But my heart didn't race. It didn't hurt. It was calm. Wow, Sophia said, forcing a smile. Didn't expect to see you here. Life's full of surprises, I replied smoothly. How have you been? Busy, she said, with that same fake grace. Then her eyes shifted toward Nathan. Aren't you going to introduce us? I smiled. Of course, Dr. Nathan Reed, cardiothoracic surgeon, CEO of Reed Medical Technologies, and my fiancé. Her face dropped, completely. It was as if every ounce of color drained from her skin. Daniel's hand trembled, his jaw tightening. Nathan reached for my waist gently. Pleasure to meet you, he said, offering his hand. Sophia just stared, stunned. She knew exactly who he was. Nathan had been on the cover of Forbes the previous year, labeled the man who heals hearts and builds empires. And now he was mine. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence itself became the loudest statement. I looked at Sophia and said softly, You look the same. Her lips twitched. Thank you. Congratulations, by the way. Thanks, I said, raising my glass. And congratulations to you too, Daniel. I read about your disciplinary hearing with the Bar Association. Must be quite an experience. The color drained from his face. The air grew heavy. Nathan stayed silent, calm, his eyes never leaving me. That silence, that composure, was the sharpest blade in the room. Sophia muttered something about needing air and excused herself. I watched her leave, heels clicking faster than her heartbeat, and for the first time, I didn't feel hatred. I felt peace. Because real revenge doesn't roar, it glows quietly. Later that night, as Nathan and I left the event, he said, You know what impressed me most tonight? I looked at him. What? You didn't have to say much. You've become everything they pretended to be. He was right. The girl who once broke into pieces now stood whole. I didn't need their downfall. I had my rise. A year later, Nathan and I got married in Hawaii, just us, the ocean, and the sunset. No audience, no noise, just love. As the waves crashed, he whispered, "You taught me what peace really looks like." I smiled, tears in my eyes. "And you taught me what love is supposed to feel like." We built a life together, quiet, warm, full of laughter. Sometimes, though, the past would send little echoes my way. Like the night I ran into Sophia again at a charity event. She was alone, thinner, quieter. "Madison," she said softly, "can we talk?" We stepped aside. "I need to say this," she whispered. "Back then, I thought I'd won, but the truth is, I lost everything that ever mattered. You had what I could never fake, peace. And I'm sorry. I really am." I looked at her for a long moment. "I forgave you a long time ago, Sophia," I said gently. "Not for you, for me." Tears filled her eyes. "You won," she said. "No," I replied. "I just healed." That night, back home, Nathan met me at the door. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I said, with a quiet smile. Finally. Years passed. Our son, Eli, once asked me, "Mom, what changed you the most in life?" I thought for a moment and said, "A betrayal that turned into a blessing." He frowned. "How can betrayal be a blessing?" "Because sometimes," I told him, "people break you so you can learn how to rebuild stronger." He didn't get it then. One day he will. Because life's quietest victories are the ones that echo the loudest. That night, I sat on the porch watching the sunset. The sky turned gold and violet, the ocean calm. Nathan came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my shoulders. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. I smiled. "Nothing," I whispered. "Just grateful for every single thing that tried to destroy me." He kissed the top of my head. "You know," he said softly, "you didn't just survive, Madison. You transformed." And he was right. Real revenge isn't being envied. It's being at peace. It's walking through the fire and coming out shining. I looked at the horizon and thought, thank you, Sophia, for breaking me, because only through breaking did I learn how to become unshakable.